If you just drop some real money on a peptide vial or a cycle, you're standing in your kitchen and you're about to mix it up. Give me 60 seconds first, because the most expensive mistake in the whole process doesn't actually happen at the injection. It happens before it. And I've watched people take pharmacy grade products and turn it into dead peptide with one wrong move at the counter. And then they blame the compound when week number 1 comes and goes and nothing happens. The needle was never the scary part. This is. I'm Dr. Jones, DC, and I coach thousands of patients on peptides and metabolic health strategies. And I don't just coach this, I run these compounds on my own body as well. Years of competitive volleyball have wrecked my knees. I'd finish a tournament and be so sore that I couldn't play right for days. A Wolverine cycle, BPC-157 and TB-500 is a big part of why I'm still on the court today. So when I tell you the difference between a peptide that changes your life and the ones that do absolutely nothing, is almost never the peptide itself. I've lived that, and I've watched it play out with the people that I coach. I handle the coaching and the execution side, how you actually use these compounds. And our medical team handles the prescriptions. So let's start where the money actually disappears first. And it's way earlier than most people would think. It's not the mixing, it's not the shot, it's actually the source. Now, here's the honest version that nobody wants to give you. When you buy peptides, you're really choosing between two worlds. One is a licensed compounding pharmacy, a real 503A pharmacy. That 503A is your stamp, your designation. This is where a real pharmacist made that vial under sterility standards and put on the label what's actually in it. Now, the other world is the gray market, a website that ships you a vial stamped research use only, not for human consumption. And then they give you a little about what you're really going to do with it. Well, it's for research only, right? It's for your lab rats. And I want to be careful here, because I'm not going to sit up here and demonize everybody who's been ordering from research sites. A lot of smart, careful people end up going that route, but you have to be clear-eyed about what you're actually holding. That research use only, that label isn't a technicality. It's a company telling the regulator in plain writing, we make no promises that this is what we say it is, or that it's safe to put in a human. When there's a problem with a batch, wrong dose, bacterial contamination, straight up different compound than the label says, there's nobody that's accountable for that. No board, no license, no recall. You found out the hard way on your own body. Now, I can hear some of you already saying, come on, Dr. Jones, like the molecule is cheap. Why would I pay premium for a pharmacy to make the exact same peptide that I can get for a fraction of the price? Now, that's a fair thing to say, and I get why it feels true. But you're not paying for the molecule. You're paying for the guarantee that the molecule is real, sterile, and dosed the way that the label says. So here's my actual recommendation, plain and simple. Get your peptides, if you can, through a legitimate 503A compounding pharmacy. And yes, that's what we do. That's how you know what's in the vial is real. It's clean, and the number on the label is the number in the liquid. Now, that one decision erases an entire category of ways this can go wrong. But if you're going to go the research route anyways, and I hope I still encourage a lot of researchers out there to still absorb my content, because I want to provide you guys a space to be safe and learn the stuff that you need to learn regardless of the path that you're going to go. But I'm going to let you know the path that I hope you can end up going. But I understand some of you can't. And I'd rather give you the floor than pretend you won't. So at the absolute minimum, send it out for third-party testing before it goes anywhere near your body. But understand exactly what that test does and doesn't do for you. A lab test tells you what's in the vial, the identity, the purity, sometimes even whether it's sterile in the vial. It tells you nothing about whether that dose is right for your body. It doesn't keep it sterile from the vial to your skin, and it does not catch the thing that goes sideways at week number 6. When something feels off and you got no one to call, testing is the starting line. That's the first place people lose. And say you get it perfectly right. Pharmacy grade, real product, exactly what the label says. You can still turn it into garbage in the next 60 seconds. So let me show you how people do that without even knowing. And real quick, because this is exactly what that section was about. If you're about to start peptides and the part that actually scares you isn't the compound, it's not having anybody to call when something feels off. Here's what we do. So we prescribe your peptides through our partner 503A pharmacies, and you get a medical team that you can actually reach when a question comes up, not a ticket that you file into the void. Real humans, you text the number on your screen or you tap that link in the description to book a free discovery call. Now, quick one before we keep going. You're already doing the work of learning this stuff. So if you want the deep version, I break down a real patient case every couple weeks, how I read it, what we tried, and why. That's called the War Room, just for a couple bucks a month. There's also a higher tier with access to my weekly live coaching calls. If you want any of that or learn more, just head over to the YouTube membership section. All right, so let's get back to the vial. So you sourced it right. It shows up as a small amount of powder at the bottom of the vial. Now that is the lyophilized peptide. It's freeze dried down so it stays stable to ship. Now your job is to turn it back into a precise, usable liquid. And there are a handful of ways people wreck a perfectly good peptide before they ever draw a dose. So let's make sure you are not one of them. Now let's start with the mix. That powder has to be dissolved in liquid, and the liquid that you want is bacteriostatic water, or BAC water, or BAC water for short, not regular saline or distilled water off the shelf. Now, the reason is right there in the name. It's got a tiny amount of preservative in it that keeps bacteria and other microorganisms from growing once you've opened everything up and it's sitting in your fridge. Plain water doesn't do that. Okay, so here's mistake number one, and it's the most common one that I see. People take that syringe of BAC water and they blast it straight down onto the powder like they're power washing a driveway. Don't do that. You aim the water at the wall of the vial and you let it run down gently. These molecules are fragile and they're long, delicate chains, and a hard stream of water can stress and potentially damage those chains. You paid for intact peptides, so don't shred them up in step number one. Now, same reason for mistake number two. You don't shake it. And I know every instinct says shake it up like a protein shaker to mix it faster. That foaming, that agitation, that can damage the chains. You swirl it gently in your hand until it goes clear. Slow is smooth here. And right about now, some of you are thinking, see, this is exactly what I was afraid of. Feels like you need a damn chemistry degree just to mix a 10 milligram vial. Now, I hear that sort of thing all the time, and I want to name the thing that makes it feel that way because it's real. A lot of these peptides are dosed in micrograms. That is 1/1000th of a milligram. So a slip that looks tiny, a little bit more water than last time, reading the syringe a hair off, isn't a rounding error. It's a real dosing difference. And the math genuinely changes with every vial depending on how much water you added. That's not me trying to scare you. That's me telling you why eyeballing it is the thing that quietly gets people and why this is exactly the kind of thing that you want a second set of eyes on. I'll file that away because it comes back at the end of this. Then storage. Fast, because this is where the finished product dies. Keep it in the fridge, middle shelf, not the door. The door swings open and shuts all day and the temperature swings with it. Never freeze it. Freezing can form ice crystals that potentially can damage those small, fragile chains. Keep it out of direct light. And every single time before you draw a dose, you look at it. You make sure that the vial is clear. Nothing floating, nothing cloudy. If it looks off, it's off. You don't dose it and hope. I have watched people do everything right. Good source, real product, and then cook it with heat. Shred it with a shake or let it sit in the fridge door. Inject that degraded liquid and get little to nothing in return and conclude that peptides didn't work for them. The peptide worked fine. The handling didn't. They blamed the compound for a mistake that happened at the kitchen counter, which brings us to the part that everybody's actually afraid of, the needle. And here's the twist. It's probably the part you're least likely to screw up. And if that one reframe just saved you from blaming a compound for a mistake that you didn't know you were making, that's the whole reason this channel exists. Now, I coach people through this every day, and I put the stuff here that tier lists and forums skip right over. So if you want that execution side done right, not just which peptide, but how to actually use it, hit that subscribe button because it genuinely helps me continue to dish out these videos and provide you the kind of value that I currently do. Okay, so the needle. This is the part that keeps people standing in the bathroom for 20 minutes, psyching themselves up. And I'm telling you, mechanically, it's the easy part. For the peptides that we're talking about, it's a subcutaneous shot. That means into the fat that's just underneath the skin, not deep into the muscle. Muscular injections are significantly harder than fat subcutaneous injections. Now, millions of people do the exact same motion every day with insulin. Now, first, the two syringes, because this trips beginners up. You mix with the one and you inject with a different one. That bigger needle is for drawing your back water and reconstituting, creating the peptide solution. It is not what goes into your body. You inject with a smaller insulin syringe. Thin, short, and honestly, most people are shocked at how little they feel it. Where does it go? The soft tissue you can pinch, lower belly a couple inches to the side of your navel, the back of your arm, the outer thigh. If you've got a decent layer there, you can go straight in at 90 degrees. And if you're lean and there's not much to grab, you pinch the tissue up and come in at an angle so you stay in the fat and not the muscle. That's the whole angle by body type thing. It's just matching the approach to what you're working with. Now, one rule that isn't optional: rotate your sites. Do not hammer the same spot every time. When you inject that same ½ inch of skin over and over, the tissue underneath thickens into hard little knots. That's called lipohypertrophy. And here's why you actually care beyond how it looks. Peptide injected into that knotted tissue absorbs unpredictably. So you can do everything else right and get erratic results purely because you camped on one spot. Move it around: left side, right side, arm, thigh. Keep it spread out. Now, a couple of small things that punch above their weight: swab the site, then actually let the alcohol dry before you go in. Wet alcohol stings and you're basically dragging it into the puncture. Use a fresh needle every single time. A reused needle is dull, which hurts more, and it's a contamination route. And go slow on the plunger. Slamming it in fast is what causes a lot of the sting and leak back that people complain about. Now, real quick, while the fear stuff is fresh, comment what almost stopped you from starting peptides. The mixing, the needle, not trusting the source, standing there second guessing the whole thing, because I read every single one of these, and the most common comments become the videos that I make next. Okay, so here's the stuff that separates people who get clean results from people who don't. If you had to say right now, what causes those hard lumps that throw off your absorption? You already know this one. We just covered it a minute ago, so I want you to hold on to that answer and then let me know. Okay, so the last piece here, and it's the one almost nobody teaches, which is wild when you think about it because it's actually the safety part. What's normal after a shot? And what means stop and go get somebody on the phone? Normal, a little sting going in, especially with backwater, especially with GHK copper. We all know GHK copper's got that little sting. That preservative can bite a bit, and GHK copper solution can as well. A small red dot, a tiny bit of tenderness, maybe the faintest bruise, that's a needle in skin. That's fine, and it fades. What is not in the wait and see category? This is call someone territory. Redness that's spreading outward and getting warm and angry over hours, not fading. That can be the start of a skin infection, and that's not something that you sit on overnight. Any sign of a real allergic reaction, hives spreading, swelling in your face or throat, trouble breathing, that's not a peptide question. That's a 911 question. And those hard, persistent lumps that we talked about that don't go away, that's your cue to change what you're doing, and a good reason to have somebody actually looking at this with you. Okay, so here's the principle that I want you to leave with, because it's bigger than any single vial. Here's how I've come to see it. Peptides are amplifiers. They're not fixes. They're incredible at multiplying a foundation that's already working, and they don't do much of anything for a foundation that isn't there. If your sleep is wrecked, if you're not eating for your goals, you're not training, a peptide doesn't make that worse, it just quietly undelivers. And then you're back to blaming the compound. Foundation first. The peptide is the amplifier on top. I'll tell you about myself. My knees came back because of a Wolverine cycle. Max dose Wolverine, but not only because of it. I still train. I do my corrective knee exercises in rehab. I still take care of the foundation, and the peptide amplifies all of that. If I'd been sitting on the couch expecting the BPC-157 to fix knees, I was still trashing every weekend, I'd have gotten nothing or very little and blamed the peptides. Same trap from the inside. So what's the actual system? The plug and play thing everybody starting out is really asking for. It's not a better molecule, although that's kind of cool. Sure, get the best source. We talked about that. It's 3 things you can't buy in a vial: a source you can trust without gambling, somebody to sanity check your dosing math before it's in your body, and eyes on you over time so that you know you're actually moving closer towards your goals. So be honest with yourself for a second, because this is the readiness check that matters. Right now, do you actually have all 3 of those pieces? A source you trust, somebody checking your math, and eyes on you over time? Or do you just have a vial and a lot of hope? I want you to sit with that, because here's the truth that this whole video was walking you toward. You were never one peptide away from getting this right. You were one system away. If you've watched this whole thing and realized how many places this quietly goes wrong before you ever feel a result, the source, the mix, the microgram math that you're doing alone, this week where something's off and you're the only set of eyes on it, here's the move that I suggest. You get your prescription filled through our partner 503A pharmacies, and the medical team comes bundled with it, not a separate endeavor, because that's the whole point. Most telemed clinics, they write the script and they're gone, but that's not how we work. Now, here's how it actually goes. You can text the number on the screen or tap that link in the description to book a free discovery call. And that first call is just to see if this is even the right fit. There's no pressure, no protocol yet. And if it is a fit and you get set up, that's when the medical team designs your protocol with you and dials in your dosing based on how you actually respond. So you're never doing microgram math alone. And if peptides caught your attention because what you're really trying to fix is stubborn weight loss at the root, we've got coaching that goes deeper than peptides alone. Same number either way. Now, one honest note so nobody wastes a call. This is for people ready to get their prescriptions through our clinic. If you already have peptides from another source and you just want someone to sign off on those, that's not what we offer. And if any part of you is sitting there realizing that you're not even sure your body's ready for peptides yet, that's exactly the next video up that I want you to watch because it'll help make this all clear to you. We'll see you later.